We are back. Trailers to Yachts, episode 18. Let's start it with an inaugural cheers, boys.
Prost.
We got our friend Charis here from Bears Bagel as our guest today in our brand new set.
It's beautiful.
That we're working on.
Yeah.
Spent hours down here today.
Yeah.
Luxurious.
Yeah.
We'll just take a moment of silence for the set here.
Take it all in.
Wow. And I'd like to point out this is my first episode ever with a hat on.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Covering up the moment today.
Cole is the odd man out right now because he's
That
the
is
only
true.
one not wearing a hat. So letting the locks fly. Oh, there you go.
Sweet.
You're a
cute
trendsetter
man.
now.
All right. Let's jump into it.
Yeah.
Tell us about yourself.
So, grew up in Delaware, just north of Columbus. And then as soon as I was capable, moved down to Columbus because Delaware sucked when I grew up. I mean, it's a lot better now, but been in the food industry since I was a wee lad. It's probably better part of 2 decades at this point. Any position, front of house, back of house, you name it. I've always just loved food and bev and had a passion for it. It's always come easy to me. My wife and I, since we've started dating back in 2013, have talked about having our own business. So it's been kind of like a long-standing dream of both of ours to kind of, make something for ourselves and kind of do the work for us rather than somebody else, Back in 22, I started messing around with bagel dough and got to a point where she kind of looked at me and she was like, why don't you just sell this off to the neighbors and see like what people think of it? And did a couple flash sales there. And then it kind of snowballed into us making an Instagram account and reached out to a couple of like food influencers in Columbus and was like, hey, can we get you some free bagels for a story or a post or whatnot? And that kind of really kick-started our traction on social media and whatnot. And then we kind of just snowballed from there, kind of took that Lions Cub business model of doing like quick flash sales online. There's only a certain amount of slots and just did porch pickup on our front door. And that quickly again snowballed into me making the decision to actually leave my salary position at 101 Beer Kitchen in the fall of 22. And we made an LLC and started making bagels. Went from being in our house with a 20-quart mixer in the corner of our living room to moving into a kitchen space downtown by the North Market and kind of ghost kitchened out of there all of 23. Did our farmers markets, started building our wholesale portfolio, coffee shops, cafes, things like that. And then we kind of came out of last year being 23, sorry. It's still in the January transition here. But came out of 23, kind of looking at our books and saying like, hey, we got some capital. Let's kind of look at, kicking tires on a place. Started the SBA process and quickly just fell into the space that we currently are. And just, it was serendipitous how it all worked out because they were tangled up in the courts with a bankruptcy franchisee, the pizza place that was there before us. And I just so happened to email like the corporate account. It was like, hey, I've seen this here for a year almost. It's just been sitting here. I don't know what you guys plan to do with it, but I'm trying to start a business. I would love to have a conversation about going into that space, taking over, subletting, whatever. And it all just boom, 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 like 2-3 weeks. And we had that deal done. But then, of course, I don't know if you guys in SBA or not, but went through that. And that was 10 times harder than any other step of the process that we've ever encountered. But once we got through that, did a quick turnaround, 2-3 months of build out, and then we opened our doors on June 7th. And it's been a roller coaster ever since. So
June 7 of 23?
Of 24, so last year. So we've only been operating for a little over 7 months now. So we'll be rapidly approaching the year mark, which is really exciting. When did you guys open your spot?
August.
Okay, yeah. So we're both in the new boat kind of category. So as you guys know, it's fun, it's exciting, it's absolutely petrifying, having all of that responsibility and debt over your head on top of your mortgage and your car payments and all the other stuff in the world. But at least we're doing it for ourselves, like we were talking about at the beginning, you know. So it's as affirming and validating as you could possibly get, you know. But yeah.
Were you always like looking for a way to get out of the corporate lifestyle and start your own thing, or was it more of just like a hobby that kind of took over as your main thing?
So I mean, it's always been, food and bev has always been just a passion of mine. It's come really, really easy. So it had been an aspiration to kind of fledge something out of our own. And my wife and I had plenty of cocktails and dinners and whatnot, talking about what we would want to do. And no, we don't want to do a high volume thing. Oh, we could maybe do that. And always kind of ended our conversations on doing like a breakfast lunch. One of our favorite places in town, period, is Skillet down in German Village. I don't know if you guys have ever been there. It's in this tiny brick building off of Whittier. And they operate like Thursday through Sunday or something like that. Really minimal hours. It's a husband and wife, and they maybe have like 5 other employees. But it seats 20, 30 people. And I mean, you can tell that they're enjoying what they're doing. They're not overly stressed because they chose to have this kind of footprint, and they kind of like, you know what, we're going to do this thing on our own terms. And we just were, so admiring about that kind of, you know, concept and what they had fledged out. So we always kind of looked at that being like, that's the dream right there, you know? So when bagels started happening, I started getting pretty good at it. She said, you should try to sell them. Once it started really snowballing that summer of 22, we kind of had the epiphany of, okay, this is a foundation product for a business concept that you could have a full menu, you know. You add the cream cheeses, you add the sandwiches, beverages, whatnot, whatever. It is breakfast and lunch, which we always talked about. And we saw a disparity on the west side, specifically of Columbus, for really great artisanal bagels. I mean, Locks down in the short north is doing a great product. You got Blocks, which is an institution, you know, that's over on the east side. Fox's is fairly new. CME's, obviously, everybody knows that in Columbus. So there's a couple of options for that mom and pop, but especially over on the west side, you got Brugger's and Einstein's, and, you know, not to discredit, I mean, they're successful businesses for a reason, but, you know, they're getting frozen dough shipped in, and they're warming it up and proofing it and baking it off. There's no heart and soul into it, you know? So we saw that opportunity just in the market. So all of those things combined kind of was just here it is. This is our dream. It's on a platter. It kind of just fell into our laps, you know? So I'm incredibly grateful that, you know, we ended up finding that topic that we were hoping for. So.
Well, and you don't even have to get fulfilled by all of it at once. It's
right.
Like if I could just check off 3 of these 5 boxes, that I could figure the other 2 out, because these 3, I wasn't even trying. It just happened.
Yeah.
But it's always doing the thing, you know, on your way to doing what you're doing. But don't have that far goal, but you got to get through this one and this one and this one first.
Yeah.
So,
and enjoying the process.
Right.
Enjoying the process. And I think even though it's been a very fast-paced kind of growth for us, it definitely has had its chapters and its growth and its build-up for us. And we've had enjoyment in each stage, each phase, if you will. How long have you guys been doing Smash Buddies?
So
it was a truck before the store, right?
Yeah, so we started June of 23.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, I mean, it was kind of
same thing, just a rocket ship.
A little bit different because neither of us have any like background.
Oh, really?
Hospitality, food industry.
Dude, I gotta tell you,
this is literally our first restaurant job.
That burger is stellar. Obviously, people that are watching have probably had their burgers, but if you haven't, the best lace in the game.
But yeah, so long story short, me and Jared served in the military about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And then we both went our separate ways. Another job popped up and landed us both in Columbus.
Oh, okay.
series of events happened. We didn't like it. We were on the road all the time. And so we decided, hey, we got to quit our jobs.
Yeah.
We had been cooking these burgers in this garage, building we're in now.
That's awesome.
We were cooking them on his blacktop, and we're like, these are amazing.
Yeah.
And we're like, you want to start a food truck?
Yeah.
And then it was just like, said it kind of like, just like in passing, not seriously. And then we got off the phone. I got on my computer in Excel and started doing a bunch of numbers, doing all like the planning and the research on how to start a food truck and all this. And then, a day later I called him. I'm like, I think we could do this.
Yeah.
This is definitely doable.
You guys are a rare breed, though.
And then 4 weeks later, we were at our first event.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I hear so many of those stories of somebody that's like, I've never been in the food restaurant and I want to start a business. And like the amount of like management and effort and focus that you have to have. Margins are just razor thin, especially with inflation and all that stuff. So kudos to you guys, because I felt halfway comfortable starting our business because I had the 20 years experience in the business. I had been managing high volume restaurants for 6-7 years at that point. So I had a skill set and a tool belt with me that gave me some confidence in knowing how to operate a P&L and manage a restaurant and labor and food costs and all of that stuff. But it's a very trepidatious endeavor if you're not like ingrained into that industry.
Luckily,
good on you guys.
Luckily for both of us, we come from very high-paced backgrounds.
Yeah,
so it's like, and backgrounds where it's like you have to figure things out, like on your own.
Yeah.
Like research everything.
Yeah.
Just figure it out as you go.
Yeah, for sure.
So it kind of like it lent itself into like the food trucking and restaurant industry because like now you never know what's going to happen the next day. It's like a new problem emerges every day. And it's like,
for sure.
We come from a background where it's like we love problems because it's something else we can fix. And once we fix it, you can move on to the next thing. And it's, I don't know, there's always something to do.
It's funny because, you look at it from a macro kind of sense. Restaurant operation kind of looks like same shit, different day. But it's definitely not.
Especially food trucking. You never know when your propane tank's going to fly off the back of your truck. Your plumbing's going to go all haywire. Electrical, like
it's more like different shit multiple times a day.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Roller coaster of shits.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw it, like swallowed a bumblebee there. Randomly, I had to take a minute. But I'm good.
Swallowed a bee?
Yeah, I think so. It's flying around down here. That's crazy.
Are you guys still operating the food truck or just at the storefront? Okay.
Yeah.
We thought about keeping it, but the cost of keeping it, going into the winter especially, it would cost us like close to $1,000. Keep toast, insurance, licensing, and all that. Yeah. Plus parking, it just didn't make sense. So we had another guy who wanted to start a smash burger food truck. And we were we were set up for exactly what he needed. So he offered us our asking price. We didn't even have it on the market. It was somebody. We actually canceled an event. The guy we canceled.
It was a neighborhood,
right? It was a neighborhood. It was like his buddy or something. He's like, hey, if you guys are opening a restaurant, are you selling your trailer? Because I know a guy who wants to start a smash burger truck. So it worked out. We never posted it. We're like, we have 2 more events over the next month, but after that, you can have it. So
that's awesome. And he asked what you were going to post it for? Or he offered what you were going to post it for?
He was like, what do you want for it? And then he's like, cool. There you go.
Oh,
I'll take it in a month.
Awesome.
And we were like, it works out. Because if we wait till April in like food truck season, it costs us $6,000 just to hold it till then. And then if we're like, now let's sell it, you might not have a buyer for another 6-8 months.
Yeah.
And, you're sitting on it. I'm like, if somebody wants it now, let's just get rid of it.
Yeah.
So we might jump back into it, but I doubt it.
Do you think if we had a space for it at the restaurant, you guys would have kept it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
There's no parking, there's nothing.
Yeah,
Because if it was like a commissary, that cuts half the costs right there. And like the time,
plus if it's at your location, you can run events. Like you can run the truck straight from your location. Yeah. So you do all your prep, you load up the truck, you go do an event, you come back, they do all the dishes.
Yeah.
And you don't over prep, you have all of the food.
Right.
You can put it back.
If you have overage, you can just put it right on your hotline.
Yep.
But trying to run a food truck out of another location from the restaurant.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's doable, but it's a full-time job for, 2 guys that are just going to be doing that.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
So how many, it's you 3. Is there anybody else on staff with you guys?
Yeah. So right now we have 3 employees.
Okay.
Yeah.
Apart from you 3?
Yep.
Okay. So 6 total. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. And we're hiring right now. We're probably looking for another 2 line cooks.
Nice.
So
okay.
I just posted a listing and I think we already got like 50 applications.
Oh yeah. Indeed's crazy.
It's awesome.
We're trying to fill our like delivery driver, and it's kind of like a flex position where it's like delivery driver, but then helps on the hotline a little bit.
Yeah.
And we just posted it this morning, and we probably have like 25 applicants. It's just like,
okay, well, I guess I got to look through all these applications. Yeah. So can you, just to like rewind a bit, just like walk us through a day of like what it's like owning a bagel shop?
Yeah.
And kind of like how you
operations,
differentiate your bagels, I guess.
Yeah. So our day usually starts at 3 a.m. for our bakers. Sorry, I should get a little close. And it starts about 3 a.m. for our bakers. And we do our boil and bake. So we walk in, we turn on all of our ovens, we turn on our tilt skillet that we're going to fill with water to boil our bagels. And then we start making up our numbers for what we need for our wholesale deliveries and then what we need for in-house bagels. So we have this whole production sheet of how many of this flavor, that flavor, so on and so forth. Then we get everything kind of set up with all of our speed racks and what have you. Get all of our toppings and seatings situated.
Mise en place.
Yes, exactly. Everything in its place, baby. And we'll go through the process. It usually takes about 2 hours, maybe a little longer if it's a heavy day like a Saturday. And we'll bake off anywhere between 700 on a weekday up to 1,000 for weekends. And we'll bake all of that off. And then about 7 o'clock, all of our line cooks come in. And that's when it kind of like changes over. We were talking about it before we started recording. Our footprint is so small that I can't have a segregated baking area to our hotline. So it's kind of a convertible of sorts where it switches from our baking side to our hotline sandwich side. So we'll make that transition about an hour before service. My line cooks will come in and portion out the proteins and sliced cheeses and knife work for your vegetables and whatnot, making sauces. And then we'll open for service. Usually it's batshit crazy from like 8 until 10 or 11 on the days. Weekends are just open up the door and hold on to your butts for us until we're sold out. But weekdays, we usually have a lull between 10 and like 11:30 noon for lunch. And we'll usually try to knock out a couple more things on our prep list. And then we'll finish up the day and close our doors at 2 or sell out, and then clean it up and head out. And it's just rinse and repeat, So that's a day in the life of a bagel maker. Our bakers are usually there from 3 to about noon. Our line cooks are there from, like I said, 7 till about 2:33.
Okay.
So they're not crazy long shifts. That's another thing that I love about it. I went from working 5 days a week at my restaurant job as a manager to working 6, maybe even 7 days a week most of the time at the shop now. But I still average less hours per week than what I did at the restaurant, just because it was a full service, high volume restaurant, open for lunch at 11, closed at 10 or 11, depending on what the day was. So, you're there 12, 13 hours a day if you're in management. And I don't think I've clocked more than 12 since our first month. So, that's a blessing for sure around being in the industry. That's
so before you opened up your spot, how much of a following did you have going into that?
So we had accumulated, for where we were and what we were doing, just doing like the farmers markets and stuff, I was pretty proud of our numbers on social media. Instagram was about 5,600 when we opened the doors June 7th. And it was actually my wife's goal, like first couple weeks into us being open. She's like, she saw the spike of the interest and just numbers going up and up. And she was like, I'm going to get us to 10,000 before our 1 year anniversary. And we actually just hit 10,000 I think like the second or the third or something like that. So it's cool to be in the 5-digit club, you know. We got the K now. So
that's everybody on Instagram.
Once you get to the K, you get decimal points. You know, you're 10.2K. You know, but I mean, this whole entire process and experience has been like incredibly humbling and crazy to just kind of step back every once in a while and see what you built so far, and to kind of contemplate how quickly it's been built. I'm totally grateful. So
and I think there's several days where we're like smashing our head in the wall with the chaos, and then you like turn around, you look, and you're like, bro, we've only been doing this for a few months now. We got like a restaurant, people in here like liking our burgers.
That's the mentality you have to have. That's where you have to be.
Yeah.
You have to.
I'll literally go through photos on my phone like from like last year, and I'm just like, oh my God, that was so long ago. We've come so far.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
like we were still working in this freezing temperatures, and the food trucks just scraping by, and now we're in a restaurant. It's like, wow, this is awesome.
Or on a presidential campaign.
Yeah.
A year and a half ago, like, never been in a restaurant or a kitchen in my life.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
He was running the dining room the first day. I thought on a previous episode, he tells a story. He said someone comes in and he said, I don't know what's going on. He's like, well, aren't you the owner? He's like, yeah, this is my first day working in a restaurant.
I'm like trying to use the toast. I'm like, bro, I don't know what I'm doing.
I just made burgers, man. I don't know what it is.
We're open. We're figuring it out.
That's awesome.
Bear with us.
Crazy, but so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun.
I mean, that's kind of the thing that draws you in, and a part of the thing that keeps you in the sinkhole of being in the restaurants, that experience of just being in the shit, but then scooping yourself out bit by bit. You feel so accomplished by the end of a crazy push like that, or learning new experiences on the fly. It's definitely, you find the small rewards for yourself, that are very personal. But then it's always cool to have the acclamations and stuff come out that are external too, So.
Yeah. And just when you start seeing like your goals being met, and things, because I think when we started the food truck, everything was like, we planned for 5 years down the road.
Yeah.
Everything that we did in the food truck, we had a plan for something way bigger than what we're doing right now. And so when you start seeing those things like actually start coming to life, you start hitting those numbers.
It's working.
It's like, whoa, it's actually working.
I mean, that's honestly the first time that I started feeling like a big kid, where like I had a 3-5 year like a roadmap or whatnot of like long-term goals that I wanted to reach, and to see that come to fruition and see it happen. I was in my 20s in the music scene and stuff. So I was just flying by the seat of my pants. I lived with a couple other dudes. I served tables, every once in a while, and was a poor musician, and I had no direction, didn't know what I was going to be eating 3 days from now, didn't know or couldn't remember what I ate the night before, that kind of lifestyle, and to have such a structured, roadmap ahead of me. It's definitely a new experience for me personally, but it's really cool to actually kind of set those goals and see them, come to fruition. Did you guys want to do brick and mortar right out the gate? Was that kind of like your first thing, or was it like, all right, we're going to do this food truck and we're going to rock and roll with it?
We had a lot of things. We had a lot of ideas. We just throwing shit at the wall. But no, it was always like, we always use the term empire. It's like what we wanted to build, and there's several different routes that we could take to make that happen, whether it's multiple food trucks. And I think we explored every one of those routes to figure out like, and we talked to other businesses, like people that have 5 trucks and like, what are the issues with this and how's it working? And, then you talk to people that went to a brick and mortar and they're like, don't ever leave your truck. Like, stay in the truck. It might be cold, but stay in the truck, And so I think we just kind of learned from everyone else's experiences and then kind of planned our own route, what we wanted.
And so many opportunities have popped up like along the way where you're like, that sounds like a good idea. Let's explore it. Let's think about it.
Kick the
Take
tires.
a few weeks and like, okay, this isn't going to work out. Or, hey, let's try to do something. Like, honestly, right before the brick and mortar, we were about to purchase a bigger food truck that was drivable. And then we were going to transition our trailer into like more of an online delivery service.
Like a ghost kitchen.
Like a ghost kitchen.
Okay.
But then the seller backed out, got cold feet. We're like, all right, whatever. We'll keep doing what we're doing. And then literally like a week later, we signed our lease for this place because another person reached out and was like, hey, you guys should check out this kitchen I have, trying to do pop-ups, trying to get it back and rolling. And we're like, sure, we'll look at it and see what it's like. And then we saw the brewery district and like what it could be, what it was. And like, I think we can get it in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of my favorite bars used to be right on the little alley that you guys are in. Double Happiness was one of my favorite places in Columbus, you know. Do you guys know like what the timeline is of all that construction?
So August is when the bridge is supposed to be
the front street bridge.
Okay,
cool.
But Double Happiness, I don't know if you know anything. So that was recently sold probably about the time.
Oh wait, didn't you say distillery?
Yeah.
I feel like I remember you guys telling me about that last time we visited.
$1.7 million distillery in there.
Wow.
And they're gonna like renovate the whole thing, put a rooftop bar.
That's cool.
And then it's gonna be sweet.
That's awesome. But going back into what you were talking about of like you guys kind of turned over every rock and possibility, and you reached out to people and talked with people that were in your shoes that went a certain route. I feel like Columbus, one of the best things about Columbus's food scene is one, there is just a embarrassment of riches in terms of people that have come before you that you can reach out to. But not only that, the way that our industry in Columbus is so inclusive and so just approachable. There is cutthroat markets. Like you go to a Chicago or you go to an Atlanta or obviously LA, New York, you're not going to get shit from nobody unless you're their little pawn for 6 years. And then they might give you a couple of nuggets of, wisdom before you try to go do your own thing. And food critics are just will gnash you and completely wreck your whole, your sensibility of your confidence in what you're trying to do. Columbus is just about lifting people up, encouraging people, mentoring people. I don't think I have gone into a conversation with somebody that preceded me in a situation and I asked questions that I was met with, a cold shoulder. I think that is one of the coolest things about Columbus. The amount of relationships that we've, formed both in that mentor kind of setting, but also people that are kind of rising on the same trajectory that you are, and you're able to kind of round table and, talk shop and whatnot. I mean, we've done it with each other a couple of times when we visited and gotten burgers and whatnot. So it's just a really cool place to be in a great industry or a great place for the industry, I should say.
That's literally the reason we're here where we are right now.
Yeah.
Like, if it wasn't for Adam teaching us the ropes of food trucking, like we would still be like, it's a big learning curve and he cut it in like a fifth of what it should be. Yeah,
and like, for sure.
Even the brick and mortar, we sat down with like Dos Hermanos, the founder of Dos Hermanos.
Yeah.
She was a food truck, then she transitioned into brick and mortar, and she kind of like helped us out, laid out a map, like this is what you need to be thinking about. Really look at your lease and like all of these things. You're like, you just don't know if you've not been in the industry. And like,
for sure,
everyone has been very willing to just give us the keys to
open arms. Yeah.
And that's what we try to do too. It's like, with the guy who bought our food truck, it's like, you want to come back here and see how we do our smash burgers?
Yeah.
Take a video.
Yeah.
Well, I'll explain exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, it's all an open book. Just let me know.
Yeah.
Because like that's why we got to where we're at. Like, I'm not trying to keep anything secret.
Yeah. One of our kind of closest mentors, Nate and Sharon from Coffee Connections, they opened up, I think like 11 years ago, and they opened up in Hilliard at a time where there wasn't shit except for Old Bag of Nails and Odie's, and they've talked with us about, how Hilliard's grown and how they've grown. But one of like the mantras that Sharon always says that I think is just really true and prevalent in Columbus is rising tide lifts all boats. Yeah. In the sense of people that are, they're the surge, they're the flood coming in. They're not afraid to, help out somebody that's next to them or maybe be a couple steps behind to help them grow as a business too. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, this industry is hard enough. Like,
dude, it's brutal.
It's so bad. It's just the day to day. You're like, oh my gosh, it wears you down. But
it's a grind.
Just knowing people are there, like, hey, you got this. You got this.
The people that are going to help you and mentor you are going to tell give you their plan, but they know how hard it is, so they don't know if you're going to actually take that.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, well, you got the plan. Good luck. Work. You got to do all the work still.
Yeah.
So,
well, and the funny thing is, no matter how much insight and knowledge, wisdom that you can get from somebody, everybody's business operates and is completely different in the day to day from the next one. So like we could talk about our businesses back and forth all day, but me being a breakfast to lunch, whereas you guys are almost like a late night sometimes, kind of drawing in after the lunch. And you guys do a lot of business since you guys are like down in the downtown business
lunches
district, right?
Like, our
main guy.
Yeah.
So I mean, like having a conversation, I would probably open up a Pandora's box of insight for you guys and vice versa, but it might not necessarily integrate, seamlessly from one business to another. But that's what talking's for, man. Spitballing and hearing what worked for you, what didn't work for you. It's all a learning process. So it's nice that people are willing to talk with you,
Yeah. And that's one of the things you asked us before we started the podcast is kind of like, what's our goal of doing the podcast? Like, what's our plan for it? And I think it kind of fits in with this conversation, but like what we wanted to do from the beginning was we had so many people that are like, you guys have a really cool story, never coming from restaurants, and here you are with one and running one. They're like, you got to get your story out there. So we had talked early on about starting a podcast and kind of documenting this because we have no idea what we're doing. So like, if no one watches it, for us 10 years later, it'd be fun to watch. And be like, man, what were we thinking?
Videos. America's Funniest.
So we kind of came back to the idea and we're like, let's start doing short videos, basically short form podcasts, and we can start try it out, see how it goes. And then that kind of developed into like, we want to start bringing on all the local, businesses, whether they're in the restaurant industry or not. Mm-hmm. We had Jason from Falter's Meat was our last guest on here. And his business started the same year our building was built in 1890s.
That's
like fifth
crazy.
So tons of history, talking to him in like Columbus in that area.
Jason's awesome.
Yeah. Is that like three generations or something? Fifth? Golly, that's crazy.
Wild. But, I
6 months in.
Right.
We're almost
like 0.4 generations.
Someone's listening to this 10 years from now and is like, oh, wow, this is where they started. That business, that's where they started.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I've noticed in Columbus, like people love the story and people want to support,
100%.
The small businesses and the guys that are out there trying to make it. Yeah. So that's kind of what we wanted to do with this, because like we've seen how expensive marketing is for everything. You just are constantly spending money trying to get your name out there. So like let's develop our own like marketing platform to bring people on and tell their story.
Yeah, 100%.
And it helps us, it helps them, and we can get like more business names out there that people haven't heard of. So
yeah, that one thing that I learned through our kind of grassroots campaign year of 23, doing all of the farmers markets. We did 4 farmers markets a week, and then we did a 5th one every other week on Sundays. So it was an absolute grind doing my 3 a.m. bake, and then go deliver everything, go home, take a 45-minute nap, come back, do all my prep for the market, go out to a weekday market from 3 to 7. Literally my day is from 3 to 7 at night with a 45-minute nap on my couch, But one thing that I kind of had a realization of kind of midway through that year was, I could have, I have a great product that people want to come back for. They're excited to, have something that is artisanal, what have you. But I'm selling myself and who I am, my story, almost as much as my product and why you should enjoy it, So it's definitely about that story. And I think that's just human, condition type stuff. People want to hear the success story. They want to hear that,
They want to see if you guys are relatable, like but what's something that you've done that I'm going through.
Yeah.
How did you get through that? And that's
adversity is always something that is, just universally relatable.
Yeah. Right.
So hearing how, I work from 3 to 7, 5 days a week, somebody hears that and they buzz and they're like, man, that guy's grinding. He's doing the thing. And it makes them want to wake up the next morning and go do their paralegal job or whatever it is, because they know that somebody else is out there grinding just as hard as, what they feel like they're doing, So branding is a whole nother, can of worms that, plays into your concept and your business and stuff. The artistry of owning a business and something that draws people in is a whole nother ballgame. You can be the most talented chef, but if you don't know how to market yourself and your brand, you're dead in the water, especially
or
in
have
this
the
day.
business sense to understand like the numbers.
Oh yeah.
There's so much that goes into this.
Yeah. I feel incredibly grateful. You guys are probably the same way between the three of you. Of everybody kind of brings a certain skill set. Obviously it will be overlapping, but people bring something to the table in your partnership that you might not have a strength of. And I feel like my wife Lo and I have that perfect yin and yang kind of situation, because anything that you see, social media, any kind of correspondence, collaboration, publication, acclamation, any of that stuff is because of her, and not to say that she doesn't do anything on the operations side, because she does a ton of stuff. She does our HR, she does payroll, she does a bunch of other day-to-day operations. She brings a whole different skill set to the table that I do, of doing the day-to-day operations and controlling the books and the food costs and all of that stuff. So finding that matchup, because I couldn't even imagine trying to do all of it and keep all of that spinning in your head all at once, one person. Absolutely not. So
it's also, we were talking about this the other day, where it's like, you also have to have somebody that to bounce your ideas off. This will either tell you, you are nuts. That's a terrible plan.
Throw that in the garbage.
Don't ever say that again. Or they're like, that's a good idea.
Exactly.
You have to.
That's how Chow was at the end. There was no one else. So if I got an idea, I just ran with it. And I'm like, a week later, I'm like, why the fuck did I do that? That was not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely important.
Yes. Yeah. For sure.
We all have our moments of insanity. It's like, I got the best idea. This is gonna work.
Right.
Everyone's like, bro.
Well, it's at the beginning it kind of hurts, like down to the core. You got someone who's on a personal level with you, telling you like, that's probably not the best thing that we should be doing. But you kind of. You don't get callous, but you get used to it. But then it's so much more validating when you have something pop in your head and you're like, hey, I think we should do this. And they're like, oh yeah, that actually is really cool. And you know what? If we do that, we can tie this thing into it. And then it starts snowballing. And once you get into one of those rhythms, it's like, sign me up, bud.
Yeah.
So.
That's the fun of it.
Collaboration is just, it's what makes the world turn, So.
Yeah, collaboration. Did we talk about collaboration yet?
No, we should.
I don't think so.
I swallowed that B. I don't know what you guys talked about, but
no.
You are hearing it first, people.
Yeah. Normally, it's Monday. Normally, we post a reel on Monday.
Okay.
That has our burger of the week.
Oh,
we
okay.
haven't posted that.
No.
You held it back.
Everyone in suspense.
Yeah. Everyone's waiting.
People are DMing, sliding into your DMs.
This will be the post.
We haven't decided a name yet.
Okay.
But we're thinking the Bears Bagels Buddy Breakfast Burger.
Be fine.
Not actually, but cool. Tell us about it.
So we're thinking we'll do a pretzel bagel.
Yeah.
We'll do double smash burger, American cheese,
Love it.
Falter's thick cut bacon,
Oh yeah.
an egg, ketchup, and then a tater tot patty on
Oh,
top.
yeah.
Yeah,
Can I give one suggestion to it?
absolutely.
Classic bodega bacon, egg, and cheese always has ketchup and salt and pepper. Just a little Salt Bae right on top of the ketchup. Yeah.
Perfect. We can definitely do that.
Sign them up.
What about Buddy Rub?
Buddy Rub? Ooh, yeah.
Salt,
Yeah.
pepper,
Now we're collaborating. Look at this.
No secret. Salt and pepper.
It sounds great. Yeah, pretzel bagel would be fantastic with that too.
Is the pretzel salted?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It's delicious. We do a classic. So our pretzel bagel is more a pretzel that looks like a bagel than a bagel that looks like a pretzel. So instead of actually boiling our bagel and then baking, we dip it in a lye solution, which is like the traditional way of making a soft, like Bavarian pretzel. So we dip it in a lye solution and then put the pretzel salt on top of it. So it's going to have a really, really great brown crust. It's going to have that very distinct pretzel flavor and aroma. It's so good. It's so good.
Kind of getting hungry.
That's awesome. Yeah, I personally recommend pretzel bagel toasted with chili crisp schmear, which is my personal favorite schmear.
Chili.
Wait,
crisp. We did that
we
once
have
with
chili.
the teriyaki burger. that we did.
Chili mayo.
What kind of chili crisp did you use is the question. There's only one right answer.
Yeah, like that one.
That's the one we used.
Yeah,
that one.
Yeah.
What was it again?
I don't know.
it comes in a little glass jar, red top.
Most of them do.
Yeah.
That was cool. That was a good try.
A lot of like symbols on it.
I think it's the most famous, the most popular. Like if you type in chili crisp.
Yeah. Okay.
So what's the right answer?
The right answer is Laoganma.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's the one with like, it's just got a random Asian dude.
This guy, yep.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah, exactly.
We actually,
With Cam right down the street.
That's where we get it from. Because funny story, we actually, our broadliner actually held it. So we were getting it from our broadliner food distributor. And they came to us, I think like October or something. And like, hey, we're pulling it from the portfolio. And I was like, that's not good news. I was like,
don't do that.
He was like, well, we got plenty of different options. I got like 5 or 6 chili crisp that I can send you. I was like, all right, send them over. So he sent me like 3 different chili crisps that were like chili crisp in oil. And then he sent me like 2 or 3 like dry chili crisp rubs. And we tried all of them, and all of them were absolute booty. Like just not even in the shadow of Laoganma. So we were just like, so I mean, I guess we're just not going to get anything from you for that, but we just go over to Cam like every 3 months and just buy a case of them because they just have them stacked up over in the corner.
Shout out to Cam though.
Dude,
it's amazing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we do our Sunday Sammys where we're doing like a week, like you guys have Burger of the Week, but we just do a singular day of a special. And when we do anything that is hinting at Asian flavors, we're always just going over there. I mean, we probably go over there 3 or 4 times a month just for our grocery shopping.
Yeah.
We love just getting like a bunch of dumplings and taro cakes and stuff and doing dim sum at our house. It's fantastic. So
I do
highly recommend.
I have to use Google Translate when I'm going through there because I'm like, I don't know anything.
Oh, yeah.
You just have to go like 100 times and you're like, I know exactly where everything is, exactly what it is.
Yeah, I don't know what that's called, but I like it.
Yeah.
I like
It's got shrimp in it.
read the aisles and I'm like, I don't even know what's down.
Right. Yeah, there's always the like sweet treat and like chip aisle. And we just let our daughter go down there and she'll just grab something random. We let her get her tree every time we go there with as a family. And she don't know what it is. She's like, oh, I'm gonna get that because it's got a little like Pikachu on it or whatever.
That's how I shop it.
Yeah.
Like, it's even, right? No, they need to have like a Cam for Dummies book at the front.
Yeah, right. That's awesome.
Yeah, it'd be helpful.
So we got to do a chili crisp on it, though, eh?
Oh yeah, we have cream and cheese. You got
On your teriyaki?
No, on the Bears breakfast.
Oh. Now you're speaking my language. Talk dirty to me.
Chili crisp breakfast burger. Nothing's set in stone yet.
Yeah,
We got till Wednesday at 11 to figure out what we're doing.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
Got any good names?
I like the adding the Bears and the Buddy. I'm a fan of alliteration, obviously, Bears Bagels. So Bears and Buddies, I think that's a perfect like marriage of the two brands. Yeah. So you got to play off of that. That's a good starting point. But from there, I mean, we would just have to, turn off the lights and light a candle and get kind of personal. Yeah, personal.
Do you want to do that right?
Turn off this light.
All right, I'm going.
I'm going on break real quick.
That's how Yacht Sauce is born.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sitting down here.
Is Yacht Sauce
the name of it.
Yeah.
Yacht Sauce isn't the sauce, right?
It's
That is the sauce? Okay, cool.
We had named it Yacht Sauce.
You have named it Yacht Sauce, okay.
It was named live on the cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What,
Episode 6, I believe.
Why is it Yacht Sauce? Because it's luxurious?
Yeah, it's the only luxury burger sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like I'm driving in a Lexus. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a customer the other day when he was like, what do you guys even call that? I was like, oh, Yacht Sauce. And he was like, I'm sorry, what? I was like, it was on the podcast. We had a few. Yacht Sauce. That's what it is. Luxury burger sauce. This is why you own a business.
It's the sauce.
Whatever the hell you want.
you don't like it? Why don't you start a burger business, all right?
What's your sauce?
Like Chick-fil-A sauce is the greatest name ever.
Yeah, come on.
We call it Smash Buddy sauce. It's lame.
Yeah.
No.
We're going to have to get it bottled soon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. He's already got a label.
I will buy a bottle of it. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Let me know. We have our Smash Buddies rub at the house. We actually did, I did a smoked chicken thighs on my pellet grill with that. And it was
Sick invite.
It's real nice.
I'm doing some chicken wings tomorrow night, so stay tuned.
Are we flaps or drums?
I don't have a preference.
I'm a drum guy.
Yeah, I'm a drum guy. I'm a lot.
You're a flat guy?
Oh, man, I love flaps.
Yeah, I mean, they're
So let me ask you this too, because there's two different things that I've heard. Is it flats or is it flaps? Because I've heard both.
It should be FLAT.
FLAT?
Right.
Okay.
But people also think that the drums are their legs. Those aren't chicken legs. That's the other part of the wing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, I like the legs. I'm like,
No,
those
legs
aren't
are drumsticks.
Those aren't legs. It's hilarious. Oh, yeah. Those are the legs. These are the wings.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I'm a lollipop guy.
Mm.
Yeah.
Smash it down and yeah, there you go.
Those are good.
Yeah. They take forever to make though.
See, I like snapping off whatever it is, femur or whatever, one of the bones, and then I can do the lollipop like that. So, yeah.
I think one thing we haven't touched on is your recent award, like
acclamation.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
winning all kinds of accolades over on Thursday.
We're trying our darndest, but USA Today kind of came out of nowhere. And we were kind of just casually, publicizing it, if you will. But it was like a month-long voting process after we had been nominated in the top 20. And it was the last week of voting, which oddly enough was the week before Christmas. And 614, I think, noticed it, and they did a web article.
Nice.
And that blew it up.
Yeah.
Because then the social media group, Columbus Foodies, that a lot of people follow, did a big old post about it too, and everybody was on that thread. Then a radio station talked about it, didn't even reach out to us, didn't have anything to say to us. And then Good Day Columbus talked about it because us and another Columbus restaurant that just opened up, Flower, was nominated for the the acclamation or whatever. And then And then we had Cameron Fontana from Good Day Columbus come out and do a live segment with us, and that kind of blew it up. So, I mean, it was holiday season is already kind of crazy, you know. People are coming in getting gift cards and blah, blah, blah. People are coming home for the holidays and kids are off school. So it was just an uptick in business to begin with. Yeah. And then all of that started happening. So this crazy buzz like just spiked all over again. And it kind of felt like our first 30 days of being open. People were getting so frustrated with us. They were like, why are you sold out at 11:30 on a Wednesday? Like, I was like, dude, I don't know. I just baked 900 bagels. What do you want from me? Or are you going to bake more? No, I literally baked all of the ones that I rolled yesterday. Just a PSA on how bagels are rolled. Yeah, bagels are like a 36-hour process. Like you have to roll it, make the dough, roll it, let it proof, but then you sit it in a refrigerator for at least 24 hours. So the process of from me making the dough to me making the bagel that you can eat is extensive. Yeah. I can't just go back there and make more. Yeah. Sorry, Janice. Yeah. So and that's one of the biggest like frustrations that we have is that narrative really doesn't shine through, and people are like, well, I drove from New Albany. And I'm like, it breaks my heart that you drove 45 minutes over to Hilliard and you didn't get what you were looking for. But like, we have 1,300 square feet. Do you know off the top of your head how big your guys' footprint is?
The kitchen itself is probably what, like 900?
900.
Yeah.
Roughly. I think we're about 18-9 in the front and
okay.
Something like that.
So I mean, your guys is probably around the same, maybe a little larger than ours.
But even still, it's like, it's not just, it takes time.
It takes time. Well, and my walk-in is like the size of this little corner of your guys' house.
It's not like the next day you can just make more bagels. It's like, this is weeks in advance where you have to be preparing for it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, we get people all the time, like, you guys don't have chicken on your menu? No. Can I get a chicken burger? It's like, no. That's.
Did you look at the menu before you came here?
Chicken burger.
It's the amount. I don't know if you get this. Do you guys do like call-in orders?
Tuesday through Thursday, we don't do it Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, just because of volume.
Do people ever call you with no idea what's on your menu?
Oh, one dude called me on a Thursday on that week where we were crazy busy, and he calls and we had just made a post, like, because we just implemented a call-in orders maybe a month ago.
Yeah.
So it's a fairly new thing for us. We're trying to navigate that whole situation because, I mean, our line is just out the door when we open on Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays. So I just physically can't take any more on board because we're already railed out from the stuff that's in our establishment. So, but this guy calls and we're crazy busy and he's like, yeah, can I place a pickup order? And I was like, yeah, give me a second. And I'm like scrambling because I'm trying to like sell stuff on the line, but then I got to take this order. And I get my notepad and I'm like, all right, man, what's a good name? And okay, blah, blah, blah. Here's my number, 614, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, all right, well, what are we getting? It's like, well, like, what kind of like breakfast sandwiches do you have?
That guy called us.
A few times.
I deliberately stayed silent for like 5 seconds just to kind of drive the notion home. But I was like, why don't you take a look at our website, bearsbagels614.com. Our menu's online, so why don't you look at that and you can give me a call back. Oh, that's a great idea. Like, I swear he was going to look like Goofy before he hung up.
Yeah. We
that's a good idea.
I've never called a place without knowing exactly what I'm going to order because I look at the menu. And
I've never gone to a restaurant. Like, I am such a fat kid that I like study the menu, especially if we're going out to like a place for the first time and we're going on like a date night to a nice place or something. I'm going to look it up and down and see what the offerings are. And if I have questions about something in particular, I can be like, hey, what's this like sauce or what kind of a pickle is that or whatever it is, you know? It just astounds me.
Yeah.
Or people that wait in line for 15 minutes and then they get up there and they're just,
what do you got?
And they're like, oh, wait, now's a good time to read the menu.
right. Or they say, I'm going to get that sandwich. Okay, well, what bagel do you want it on?
Yeah.
Oh.
What kind of bagels do you have?
Well, this big display box that you've been standing in front of for 10 minutes? Those are the bagels we have.
Yeah, we get people all the time that call and they're like, yeah, I want to get a burger.
I got a burger.
And I'm like, well, we sell those. Well, what are you looking for? I don't know. What do you guys got? Burgers?
Burgers.
I'm like, you know what? What do you want on your burger? I'll figure it out on our menu. Just tell me what you want. But yeah, it's... Or
Do you
they
guys have shellfish on your menu?
Someone asked us he was like,
No, we
disappointed that
don't have shellfish.
He wasn't calling for like an allergy. He was literally disappointed.
He wanted shellfish. He wanted like shrimp or scallops or I'm like,
Smash Buddies.
no, we do burgers.
Yeah, right.
Burgers and tots, man.
It's not Smash Buddies Crab Shack or something, you know?
Smash Buddies by the sea.
Yeah, it's funny too, the amount of people that read the menu and are like blown away when they ask for something that's not on the menu.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I see tots. Do you have fries? And I'm like, no, but you don't have fries?
Yeah.
That's one of the things I love about your guys' concept is this is what we got. I got 3 different burger options.
Yeah.
We know what
And
we're
tater
good at.
tots. Yeah.
This is what we got.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's so many other restaurants in Columbus that are amazing.
It just makes it so easy. Like, that's one of the things that I have absolutely loved about Hot Chicken Takeover from the beginning. Like, and we're not going to go into what Hot Chicken Takeover is now, but when they first started, they were like, you can get breast, you can get dark, you can get white, or you can get drummies. And then you can get...
Or you can get out.
Yeah. And it was like, sidewise, it's like I got mac and cheese and coleslaw. I think those were the first 2 things that they had. And it was just like, that's what it is. Keep it simple. And makes it a lot easier for everybody, you know? But,
Yeah.
people want Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
Wait, your menu doesn't have chapters?
He's a guy for our menu.
Yeah, we're like, listen, lady, I've never worked in a restaurant before. You don't want chapters. I can do a couple things. That's about it.
This is what we got.
You don't want me making like a piccata for you. It's not going to end well.
Yeah, this is a YouTube video turned restaurant. So
Yeah.
it's like, stick to what we're good at. No, it's fun though. You guys get a lot of prank calls?
No.
Guys,
All the time.
It might have something to do with our name.
Yeah. You about to smash?
We get the same prank caller like
There's
2 or 3 times a week.
There's one kid. I hope he's listening, but I don't think he is. Yeah, he calls us 2 or 3 times a week, and it is very inappropriate the things he says. But he just calls and calls and calls.
And we like take the call and like, hey, yeah, what can we get for you? And he's like, oh, can I get a...
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
We try the psyops, and we're like, we're gonna get him not to call anymore by entertaining him or just irritating him. It's worked a few times.
Yeah.
Just use it against him, but
Yeah, we get a crank call prank.
we
call
were getting
today.
those in the food truck.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We get those in false reservations. Like people call and want to reserve a table.
Yeah,
And
I got a
then
party
show
at
up.
8. Well, how long is the wait time? They're like, yeah, you can probably sit right. Yeah, we'll make a seat ready for you. I'm like, all right. Be there in like 30 minutes. Show up. Like, okay.
No, I think I still have a voicemail saved in my phone from when we started the food truck. Because for a while there, it was just like a Google number.
Yeah.
They went to my phone. And for a while there, it was like the college kids, I think, get drunk and they're like, we got to prank call some people. And they're like, Smash Buddies, these guys deserve it.
Yeah.
I'm like sleeping and my phone's ringing, but there's a classic one. It's like, Smash Buddies, why don't you go fuck your own buddy? I'm like, Jesus, it's like 3 a.m. And I'm like, maybe it's the cops calling because my truck got broke into.
Right,
Like,
right.
listen to that. I'm like, oh,
God, it's that.
you got me again.
You roll over, you fart, and you go back to bed.
I saved it. But
That's funny.
that's one thing we ask is like, if you're going to prank call us, just be funny.
Yeah.
We get so many that they call us and then they're just speechless when we answer the phone.
Yeah.
Or they just start laughing. And I'm like, dude, I'm totally down.
You didn't even get to the line, dude. You didn't get to the punchline.
Don't waste both of our time. Just do it right.
Do better, prank callers.
Yeah. Come on now. Step up your game.
Oh God, we're gonna go so many
Yeah,
prank
oh my
callers
gosh,
now.
yeah.
Probably. I'm gonna be a prank caller now.
Hey, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
we got caller ID, so we'll know.
Our 14 listeners are gonna go off the chain now.
I'm just gonna breathe really.
Until we get a new front of the house person, they're like, I get the weirdest call. We never got those before.
That's awesome. Do you guys get the Google silence calls just to see if you're answering?
No, I don't think we've ever gotten that. I've gotten a few where it's like, what's your address? 460 South Vine. Okay.
Google's like algorithm or just their AI will call you just to see if you pick up during business hours.
Nice.
So anytime you have just like, you say, hey, thanks for calling Smash Buddies, and you get nothing, it's usually Google.
No, we've got a few like DoorDash drivers coming. Like, what are your guys' hours? And like,
we had somebody come in and they're like, yeah, I gotta pick up for Eric. I was like, no, you don't. He's like, well, yeah, pick up for Eric. No, you don't, because we don't do any third party.
Really?
Nothing. Again, going back into the footprint.
Nice. That's very
going back into the. If I had that, it would be a floodgate, and I wouldn't be able to control the in-house and the things that are coming in. So, it's something that, hopefully we can navigate through, whether we, expand in the building that we're at, or we move into a new building or something, or we get a different location where it has a little bit more space to, allow that bandwidth to take on all of that extra volume. But right now it's just like, absolutely not. We can't.
No, that's amazing. Like, because of the construction that's happening in the brewery district, that's kind of like one of the aspects we're leaning on, because it's like,
it's just hard to
we
get
can
you
do
guys.
half of our business online because we're downtown. There's such a big radius around us of people who want food, and there's a lot of demand for that. So it's that's what we've been kind of focusing on until August, and that construction clears out. There's a little bit more of a
for sure
physical footprint.
Also, the difference for our business is if we sell a ton online we weren't expecting, it's meat, cheese, and buns.
Right.
We don't have 36 hour window or whatever it is. Our prep time is like, we need more meat prep.
Just break out a case of beef and portion it out. But
we have people, DoorDashers and Uber Eats, all of them, they'll come to our restaurant to pick up something, and you look at it, I'm like, I don't see that name. And then you look at the restaurant they're supposed to be picking up from, and it's like a block away.
That's Chipotle. That's right down that way.
It's like, dude, this is... I ended up looking at, he was like adamant that he was picking up from us, and I ended up looking at it, and he was picking up from Starliner. I'm like, that's that brick building right there. And of course, most of the third party deliveries, he had very broken English. He barely understood what I was saying. Luckily, it was able to get across to him that building right there is where you're supposed to, and
that's a great part. They come in and they're just phone in your face. I'm not going to say anything, but here's my phone.
It was one of the most frustrating things when I was at the restaurant.
Yeah, you're like, you gotta, can we scroll?
Right.
That's not us.
I don't want to be touching your phone. But
so we have a business next to us. It's like a block and a half up, and a bunch of young professionals doing something over there. Their address is 640 South Front. Ours is 460 South Front.
Oh God, dyslexia much.
I can relate.
This has happened 3 or 4 times in the last couple of weeks, where they put their delivery address in as 460 somehow instead of 640. So the drivers pick up the food, they walk out, they start walking back to their car, and they turn around, they're following their little map. They walk right back in the restaurant, and they're like, it says I'm delivering it here. I'm not. No, bro, you just picked it up here. There's no reason anybody would have a delivery at the same place you picked it up. And I'm like, let me see it. But it always says the name of the business on it.
That just shows you that that job is absolutely mindless. Do you have a driver's license? Cool, you can do it.
No, this is actually real. This week we had a guy. He was probably 50. we're attached. There's a bar attached to us, separate business. But he comes and he looks in the window, and he was staring in there. And then he comes over and I was like, "Oh, this guy's actually picking up an order." But he's like, "Hey, man, I'm an alcoholic." I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "I'm going through a really rough patch." I could tell that he was hammered. He's like, "I'm going through a really rough patch right now." It's like, "All right." He's like, "I got an order for Craig here." And I'm like, "What is happening?" He's like, "Give the order." I'm like, "Well, I hope you're not an alcoholic while you're delivering people's food to them." Right. It's like, no. And I'm like, "All right, man." He like confirms it and like stumbles out. He like looked in the bar again before he left, like he was contemplating grabbing another drink.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was hammered.
What kind of taxi cab confessional was that?
It was so awkward. He's like, "Listen, man, your food might not get to their house. I'm pretty drunk." Wow. But,
Godspeed.
Yeah. It's wild, but I know you got to get up at 3 a.m. So wrap this thing up. End it with the inaugural cheers. We appreciate you coming on.
Yeah. The pentultimate cheers.
Oh, yeah. Pentultimate.
I like that word.
Let's go.
Like that word.
I'll Google it in the morning.
So, starting Wednesday.
Yes.
Bears buddies and bears. Whatever.
Whatever name we end up.
And you run it through Sunday?
Yeah.
Cool.
Wednesday to Sunday.
We'll definitely.
And Wednesday's like National Bagel Day or something, right?
Yeah, Wednesday's National Bagel Day. You've heard it here first as well. We're going to be doing a first 25, I think, in the door. Get a free bagel and schmear. So
on Wednesday?
Yeah.
What time do you open?
Maybe
8 o'clock, 8 to 2 every day. Well, Tuesday through Sunday, I should say. We're closed on Mondays. Which, are you guys open 7 days a week, or are you guys
No,
closed?
we're just 5 right now.
Oh, okay.
But February, we're looking at maybe opening.
Are you guys in the shop doing prep or anything either of the days that you're closed?
We'll clean a little bit on the off days.
Do you guys have people just pulling on your door without even looking at your like store hours or anything?
All the time.
Oh, well, we were gone for Christmas.
We had like
were closed for 10
32
days.
missed
Yeah.
calls.
They were getting like emails and like asking if like we were closed down for like.
Wow,
closed
really?
You guys okay? You guys still open?
People thought we shut down for good.
Yeah, man,
Dude,
we needed some time off.
We tried to be as diligent as possible in covering our asses in that regard because we just took a little hiatus as well. So we posted on all of our social media platforms. We put it on Google. And so if you looked us up to get directions or something, it would say, "No, dumbass, they're closed. Don't go there."
Holiday hours.
Yes.
Let's go somewhere else.
Yeah, closed for the whole week. The one thing that we had missed was putting it on our website. And of course, some person went online and was like, it's funny that they have this accolade and I try to go and they're closed. They're not even open. And she was like,
1 star.
Yeah,
That's a whole other can of worms you do not open.
And she said, "I drove all the way from Westerville or something like that." And we're like, "We're really sorry that you missed us." But, and she had mentioned that it wasn't on our website. But we were like, okay, well, we're really apologizing. We missed that one element. Yeah. But like when you put your directions into your Google Maps, it probably told you, "Hey, don't go there. Don't drive 30 minutes away because they're closed." Yeah. So, I mean, like, you just can't win sometimes, you know?
I saw it. It was on there.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Oh, we had it posted. What'd you guys do? Just vacation?
Yeah, pretty much.
Looks like you went to Hawaii.
No, I went to DC for a wedding, but...
The best Hawaiian shirts in DC.
The podcast is trailer to yacht.
They got a Tommy Bahamas outlet there that is just like Margon.
Just for success.
Exactly.
Just for the job you want. It's working on it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's the job I want.
That's why I bought the Globe today at Hobby Lobby because I was like, pretty soon we're going to be on a yacht. We're going to need this.
Sooner we're going to be like swaying back and forth on our ship doing our podcast.
Yeah.
Then the Hawaiian shirt will make sense at that point.
Exactly. Boats and bros.
Anyways.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. One final cheers for the road.
A second final cheers.
Thank you again for coming out.
Oh, yeah.
And to continued success in both of our businesses.
Yep.
And to all our listeners and watchers, later, daters.
Smash you later.